I mean, Troy, this dude gave me a shout out in his Hall of Fame speech. How good that made me feel and hit the most significant probably moment in his NFL career to say what somebody did for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said, Mike Logan shared his full wealth of knowledge with me. I didn't even know I was doing that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And for you to remember it on that grand of a stage, to me, is the ultimate, you know, homage being paid to someone. And that dude's just, he's different, but I wish everybody was like him. We had a world full of people who just had his personality and just carried themselves the way that he does. Oh, what a beautiful thing, man. I got better after he said my name in the Hall of Fame speech. I got better after that.
What's up, everybody? I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. With me, as always, my trusty co-host, Roman Harper. What's up, baby?
What's up, baby? I'm good, man. Really looking forward to continue to have this conversation. You know me.
Yeah.
I always have the conversation before we actually cut the recording and
cut the what?
The cameras.
You mumbled those words. You heard them, right? He said,
it wasn't coming. It wasn't coming right. So I was gonna just like pause, kick right through that. It's all right, go ahead. Tell us who our guest is.
Our next guest, he played DB for 10 years. He won a Super Bowl with his hometown team in 2005. Yeah. Now he's a radio host. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the pod, Mike Logan.
Yeah.
What's up, peoples? How y'all doing, man?
Appreciate you coming on the pod, bro.
I appreciate y'all having me, man. It's always good.
You from here?
Bro, I'm from Pittsburgh. I was born probably about 10 minutes from where we are right now, right in the south side of the city, raised in little suburbs of the city, then moved back to the city in the historic Hill District, lived there for almost 20 years, and now I'm just back in the city, man, back in the burbs. Chilling in my hometown,
That's what's
man.
up. So you remember we had Coach Cowher. He's from Pittsburgh too, right?
Oh yeah.
Would you say he had to?
He looks like he's
like. What'd you say about his chin? You say
he's like just hardcore.
I got a little bit of that chin going on too.
He got that Pittsburgh chin.
That Pittsburgh chin, man.
He got, like y'all just like lift weights all day and just like y'all
just get through the winter, bro.
Yeah, like y'all just hardcore tough. Like, hey, I don't take shit from nobody.
Listen,
like I'm just
y'all come up here in the thick of December and January, and I'll show y'all what it's about. We about that life up here, man.
That's the vibe I get though from all the Pittsburgh cat,
bro. Listen, man, Bill's my dude though.
He fun dude.
Bill was my dude. You know, I got drafted by Jacksonville, so I was down in Duval for a couple of years, played with Coach Coughlin. I was a free agent, and I was going back to Duval. That was home to me, you know what I mean? Because I had made some great relationships.
How long were you there?
I was there for 4 years. Okay. Made some great relationships, had teammates that I vibed with and everything, and got comfortable. And I came home in the offseason. I would always go see, basketball games at the old Mellon Arena. And Bill Cowher's daughters used to play basketball back then, you know what I mean? So we had an all-star WNBA Hall of Famer, Swing Cash, who went to my high school.
Oh, yeah.
So I would go check her out, and she would be playing against people, and I seen Cowher's daughters in there playing. I was a free agent at the time. I was over there like, Bill, I'd love to come home and play for the Steelers, you know what I mean? He kind of looked at me with that chin, like looking like, get away from me, you know what I mean? But then, lo and behold, man, I was a free agent and got that call. And can you imagine playing for your hometown team?
I can.
I mean, just crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I told my dad, hey, I'm about to sign with Pittsburgh. He's like, for real? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, get over to this facility. Let's go. And he's like, call your agent. I don't care what my agent's saying. He's like, my agent's calling. Like, let me broker a deal first. Don't sign nothing, because I would have signed for anything.
Yeah.
Just to come home and accomplish the dream.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't grow up in Chicago.
Okay.
I grew up a little bit in and out.
Okay.
But yeah, it's nothing like coming back to the hometown team. Like all my relatives, all my aunties, grandparents, they got to see me play. So that was a cool
gift
piece.
and a curse, though, man.
Yeah.
It's a gift and a curse.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
You know what I mean? One, the distractions. You got a lot more distractions at home. You know, taking care of family and having that responsibility, that's going to trump sometimes what you do out on the field.
Yeah.
If you got your priorities in line, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a gift and a curse. And then trying to get 35 tickets
Yes.
on game day.
And they're not free.
And they're not free, which they don't understand. Like right now, I got people, I was just checking my messages. I got people that's saying, I want to walk up on stage with you when you do a draft pick. I'm like, I'm not even calling a draft pick. Oh man, you Mike Logan, man, you play for they think I got like Mr. Rooney on speed dial. I could just do what I want to do. And they still don't understand that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People that want to sit on the 50-yard line every day think I got my own suite. I'm like, come on, man. Like, it's tough, but I loved it. I love it. Wouldn't trade it.
Say less.
Yeah, you talked about Bill Cowher and how great he was for you. I'd like to ask you about another one because you just posted about on your Instagram not too long ago. Coach Garrett Ford Sr.
Yes. Garrett Ford Sr. is the reason I'm sitting here today. When I got to West Virginia University, it was like a culture shock to me. Even though it's only about 70 miles away from where we are right now. Even in that close correlation, it's culture shock down there. So as an inner city youth who's African-American going down to West Virginia, it was like culture shock. And I got down there and I was just out of my rabbit mind. I was acting a fool. I was cutting up. And Garrett Ford Sr. was the assistant athletic director at West Virginia University. And one of the first African-Americans to play football down there. And he just he don't take you under his wing. He lets you navigate towards him because he wants to see how you get on campus, try to figure things out. And he sat me down and he said, "You're one of the most talented young individuals that I've ever seen step foot on this campus, but you're a knucklehead." And I was like, all right. At the time, I wasn't offended by that because I was a knucklehead. I kind of took pride in that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, whatever. But as I got to watch him in his role as an athletic director, and I seen how he was to not even every black student, but every student athlete, how to present ourselves. He wanted us to be on point with everything. And he kind of just said, he embraced me because he knew that I was off the chains. But I looked at him like a father figure. We had a remembrance for him last week, and I drove down just to share in the sentiments with everybody else to be in the audience.
Is there anything a lesson that he taught you that you still use today?
Yes. He taught me that chasing my dreams is okay, but it's who you become after you catch your dream. That's going to determine the life that you live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I'm pretty sure you guys dreamt about becoming a professional athlete, becoming a professional football player. And he said, who are you going to be after you accomplish that dream?
Love that.
So I think about that all the time because it's easy to just accomplish your dreams. And our dreams to be a professional football player are astronomical odds against that happening. But when it happened, I was like, okay, now what? Now, I played for my hometown team, won a Super Bowl with my hometown team, and retired at 33 years old. And I'm like, all right, now what? Who am I without football? Who am I without the Super Bowl ring? Who am I outside of this? And, I'm still chasing that purpose today. And because of him, I always think about it. And I think I wouldn't have thought about it without that because I would have been content with just being Mike Logan, the Super Bowl champion who played for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That ain't bad.
To me, that's a great identity.
Yeah.
But we were talking earlier, Roman, about, my younger kids. I have 5 children, man. My pride and joy, greatest accomplishment I ever did. I'll trade that Super Bowl ring in an instant for being a great father to my kids. You know what I'm saying? But you got to find that purpose, man. And I think about Coach Ford and trying that every day when I'm chasing that purpose.
That's great.
So while at West Virginia, you were balling, right? So in '93, you got the Scott Shirley Award,
right,
given to the top special teams player. And in '96, you also got the Gridiron Gladiator Award.
Yeah.
Your time at West Virginia, how did that shape you into being the player you were when you got to the league?
It helped me understand that talent alone wasn't going to accomplish the goal. I was so gifted as an athlete that I never worked hard. I never worked out. I mean, I got to school and they was doing the bench test and they put 225 on. They was like, what you bench? You know, I was like, I don't know, put on what he put on. It might have been 185. I ain't even gonna lie. They put that on the thing. Man, I had to act like I had a shoulder injury because I couldn't get the weight up off my chest. You know what I mean? And I was like, ooh, this is different. This is different. So now I have to work. I had to learn, you know, how to take care of my body. I had to learn discipline. I had to learn, you know, teamwork. I had to learn the plays, the X's and O's of it, because I was gifted. I was talented. I was blessed with a lot of talent. But, you know, I got down there and I'm a big bad guy. I said, I'm coming in, I'm going to start as a freshman. So I went and sat in the front seat of the room, in the running back room. They said, oh, Mr. Logan must think that, you know, he's still in high school. They said, we sit by the depth chart here. So go take like the 6th seat in the back. I couldn't even see the board. So I'm looking, it's like, since Mr. Logan wants to think his talent is so great, why don't y'all stand up and introduce yourself? And at the time, 92, Adrian Morrell was the starting running back. He stood up, Adrian Morrell, Mr. Hawaii. Next seat, Garrett Ford Jr., Mr. West Virginia. Next seat, Robert Walker, Mr. West Virginia. Next seat, Jimmy Garrett, All-American, Okeechobee, Florida. I'm sitting in the back. I'm Mike Logan, All-State. You know, I mean, so it was humbling, but it showed me that talent just wasn't going to get me there.
So I would like to know, what was your first welcome to the NFL moment? You were drafted in the 2nd round by the Jags.
In 97.
How long have the Jags been around? They have been there for what, 4 or 5 years?
I think they were there for 3 years, maybe 2 or 3 years. But they was rolling, so I was geeked up.
Everybody thinks Carolina's, but like Jacksonville hit it rolling. They was rolling. Mark Brunell,
Tony Baselli, Jimmy Smith, Keenan McCardell. I was pumped, man, to go down to Duval.
Nice. What was your first welcome to the NFL moment?
Man, I ended up getting to play as a rookie, and I had switched positions, man. I mean, I went from thinking I was a tailback in college to playing cornerback down there, and ended up liking cornerback and being able to return kickoffs and punts was filling my offensive need. But then they moved me to safety when I got drafted. And Tom Coughlin told me that when he drafted me. On the draft, he said, listen, we're going to move you inside. We want to, with your cover skills, we're still going to have you covering the wings and everything. So I was like, all right, cool. But then he's like, we got to move you to safety. And me not knowing, I'm thinking, it's still a DB. This is going to be an easy transition. Y'all know corner and safety is 2 different worlds.
Yes.
2 different worlds. So I'm lost in space, man.
I'm excited to hear how.
And this is your first time ever playing safety?
This is my first time ever playing safety. I played rover in high school.
Okay.
It ain't really safety. It's go stand in the deepest you can be and go intercept the ball. And I was pretty good at that. Yeah. But I never formally learned how to play safety, knowing that I need to take angles, knowing what the cover 2 is really, I'm trying to take this. I knew none of that.
Disguising and all that.
Yeah, I knew none of that. I dropped to the hook. I'm like, what? So I get in there and I'm trying to learn best I could. And my coach was like, we got to get you on the field. You're talented. You can cover. But it was like 3rd and 15. We're playing against the Detroit Lions. Their running back is Barry Sanders. And I'm enamored. You know what I mean? I'm enamored. And
we were too.
Listen, I'm in a deep post, and Barry Sanders comes running through the hole. And it's just Mike Logan against Barry Sanders. And I went down there and gave it my best little effort. And lo and behold, I tackled Barry Sanders, like one-on-one.
Open field.
Get back to the huddle. I'm pumped. I'm like elated, bro. Like, man, I felt a fist come hit me in the side of my helmet, knock my cage down all into my face. Clyde Simmons. Y'all remember Clyde Simmons? Used to play for the Eagles back in the day. He was on the Jaguars. What you doing, rookie? You out here celebrating. That man just got a first down. I ain't even know that he got a first down. I was so happy that I tackled him. Get out. You ain't even supposed to be in here on first down anyway. Man, I came to the sideline, helmet still, trying to fix my chin strap and everything, and I'm looking around, a little dazed a little bit. And my boy Aaron Beasley said, yeah, he got you, huh? I was like, who, Barry or Clyde? He was like, Clyde. He was like, don't nobody give a damn that you tackled Barry Sanders in the open field. We was trying to get off the field on third down. They got a first down. That's when I knew the difference. I was like, okay, this is business.
Yeah.
This is business. Don't nobody care about that open field tackle. But I think I still got that on tape. I be showing my, you know what I mean?
You have to. You have to.
You know what I'm saying? So that was it.
It's funny because Peanut helps with the Europe. How do you IPP? I didn't want to say it. But
No, yes. I got you.
So Peanut helps with the IPP and he coaches defensive backs.
Right.
And so, Peanut being a longtime corner in the NFL, but played safety in college. But just as like at the highest level, he's like, bro, like me trying to do tackling drills from the safety position versus the corner position. I don't think people understand how much more difficult it is.
It's got a two-way go.
You got the two-way go versus coming from outside in.
People do not understand that. And especially in Pittsburgh, man, if y'all hang around here a little bit, y'all gonna see people on the street got football IQ.
Yeah.
And they be running up to you, or so they think they got football IQ, but they running up to you. And I had a long conversation. This was the other day about Jalen Ramsey. He moved to safety last year for the Steelers. And he was like, man, he either knocked somebody out or he missed them. I said, listen, do y'all know that man just moved from cover corner to safety? Two different worlds. They got the same mentality I had. Oh, no, it's still defensive back. Tackling's tackling. I said, y'all don't understand the angles. I used to have to put on the big boy pads. I played in the box. They moved me to the box. So I was down there kind of like a linebacker. Mm-hmm. When I'm taking on big-ass linemen and everything, dipping your shoulders, learning how to do all that, tackling's way different.
And you ain't got the weight behind you, too.
Come on, man.
The strength.
People don't understand. People don't understand. It's a world of difference, man.
Similar, though, when I got drafted, I didn't know if I was a corner safety. And then right when I got to Chicago, they're like, I think we're going to try a corner first. So I was kind of in the same ballpark, but they just let me just play corner the whole time. So I never had to.
How was that transition for you, though?
So I played corner and safety in college.
Okay.
So I was familiar with open field tackles and doing all that. I played more safety in college than I did anywhere else. And then when I got to the league was where I really kind of developed and kind of turned into a corner,
right,
per se.
He played a lot of quarters, so he was a lot of just running the alley at safety, which is good, but it's also not always a true picture of what happens. All of a sudden somebody busts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. And for me, I was so offensive minded when I came to college. I was always used to running forward. I never backpedaled. So I really had to learn how to run backwards and backpedal. And then when I'm playing corner, it was watching the receiver's hips, making sure, how that was stuff that was a different world to me. And then they moved me to safety, and it's like, all right, now you got to look at angles, and you're coming downhill. So now I'm going forward again. I'm trying to fill the gaps, and now I'm playing the slot. Like you said, they got the two-way goes, and I'm like, how do I maneuver? Bro, it was rough. It was rough.
I'm sure it was stressful. So 99, you were with the Jags. You guys lose the AFC Championship to New England. What was it like playing for Tom Coughlin?
It was the hardest experience that I ever had in playing the game of football in my life. After I retired, I reflected on it. It was the greatest experience that I ever had as a player coach in my life.
Everyone says that.
Tom Coughlin, he is who he is. And we called him the dictator, but he ran his ship the way he wanted to run his ship. And if you wasn't on board 5 minutes early, you could get off that ship. And he ain't give a damn who it was. From the top player, from number 1 to 53. He didn't care. And, Tom, he cost me a lot of money, though, man.
That 5 minutes is real.
Conduct detrimental. Y'all remember? Y'all might not know about conduct detrimental, but our fine was what, 1563 back then in 90s. I had a lot of 1563s in my life.
How are you? Is this even just for being late? Is everything conduct detrimental to the team if you're late? Is that?
he was giving us conduct detrimental for being late. Bro, you get conduct detrimental for wearing white socks at the hotel.
I thought that would just
you
be
got
like a
conduct
late fine.
detrimental for not wearing a collared shirt at the hotel. You didn't wear a suit with a tie on the plane. Conduct detrimental, because he said that those were his rules and you weren't to listen to him. And that was conduct detrimental. Not just the fine, conduct detrimental.
So for listeners and viewers, conduct detrimental, that's like
that's the highest.
That's the highest of the
That's the
high.
highest
Like
you
you
can be fined as a player.
never want to get conduct
Yes.
detrimental to
No.
the team.
That keeps all players in the line.
Bro,
Yes.
That keeps the conduct detrimental.
That's like a stern message I'm sending. Like that's
Yes.
Mr. Clark, lean on me right
yes.
there.
Yeah, Joe
That's
Clark,
that-
get the chains
yeah.
off the door. It was, man.
I didn't know that.
Bro, I don't even know how much money I took home my rookie year. I ain't take home a lot of money. I mean, back in 97, we wouldn't get paid like they're getting paid now.
Right.
I'm like, Coach, come on, man. Get your act together. And he didn't even talk to you about it. It just, he come in the room, I'm pissed off. You want to come talk to me about something? You know how much money you just cost me? But later in life, now as I'm starting to coach
Yeah.
and getting into those things, I understand about being early. Being on time is being late.
Yeah.
And I understand that now because it's those precious little seconds that something could have happened. Because he's starting to film and you ain't there, you might miss something. And I get it now. And then just the way it showed me that he cared too. He cared so much about how we took our job. He wanted us to understand that our job was of significance to make the team be able to be as successful as it was. Everybody had that part. So second round pick, I got hurt my second year, broke my ankle, returning the kickoff. I'm laying on the training table and I'm like, I was playing pretty good. So I was like, man, he gonna big me up. He came in and said, wasted a second round pick on your ass and you sitting in the training room. I looked at the trainers. I'm looking around like, did y'all hear that? They was like, yeah, you sitting in the training room. You ain't helping no one on the field. I was like, damn, this dude is serious. But again, it went back to me taking care of my body and doing the things that I needed to do. Once I got in the league and I went back to that old mentality. I made it. I'm able to do things that I never done before. I'll work out, but I ain't going to put in the extra work. You know what I mean? And that was the reason he said that to me. He said, I don't see you in here working. I don't see you getting your body together. I don't see you in here putting in the extra work. I'm dependent on you. I'm dependent on you coming here and help this secondary so we can go do what we need to do.
You know, you're in Jacksonville for your first 4 years.
Right.
And then you have the opportunity to sign with Pittsburgh. Kind of walk me through that process or transition in your life. Because you said, like, dude, I was going to stay in Duval. Like,
yeah.
I was Duval.
Definitely. I would have stayed in Jacksonville if it wasn't for Pittsburgh. I had a couple other offers on the table from different teams, but it was Pittsburgh. One, it was my dream. I'm accomplishing. I stood on the Colbin and Whitaker projects at 6 years old and told all of my boys, I'm going to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers and I'm going to win the Super Bowl. You know, I'm born in the 70s, so we had four of those things, you know what I mean? So of course, I'm just thinking like that. They laughing at me, you know, oh, that ain't going to never happen to us, you know what I mean? You know, man, I walked off that field with one of my best friends and he was like, bro, I remember that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was always the dream of mine. The reason why I really came home, one, for the opportunity to win the Super Bowl with my hometown team, but at the time, my mother, we say Raise. My Raise was sick. She was dealing with some health issues with kidney disease. And I wanted to come home and be close to her. You know what I mean? And I did. I was able to come home and spend some time with her right before I retired. You know what I mean? She passed away right after I retired. Mm-hmm. So me being home gave me an opportunity to be with family, to, you know, spend some time with my mother because, you know, I grew up rough, I lived in different households and didn't get that quality time with her when I went off to college. So after I went off to college, you know, didn't spend a lot of time with my Rays.
Yeah.
And didn't get to see her. And then the opportunity to come home and be with her and spend that intimate time with her before she ultimately passed away. You know, I wouldn't trade that for anything. So that was kind of the thinking for me.
Yeah.
To come home. And ironically, my father, I was in Green Bay on a free agent visit, and my dad ended up getting rushed to the hospital. He was dealing with some things, and I was like, that's the sign for me to not worry about the money. I did leave some money on the table, though. Probably use that right now.
Oh, you never forget.
Yeah, you never forget.
You never forget.
You never forget, but I wouldn't trade it. Wouldn't trade it at all.
Yeah. He was better off not going to Green Bay. So I'm just.
Oh my gosh.
I know you should.
What are you talking about?
It's okay. You're completely yourself all the time.
Hey,
and you
listen,
never say one good
that's
thing
how I am
about
with the Browns and the Ravens.
Yeah,
man.
he don't get it. Though.
He don't get it.
No,
you know
the Saints ain't got no rivals. They
do, but it doesn't matter enough to talk about it. And a lady in the airport told my son, because his favorite team is Baltimore. She was like, "Don't say that in Pittsburgh."
I did not know that.
Yeah, he likes Lamar Jackson.
Browns and Cowboys, no go in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Cowboys, huh?
Because the Super Bowl they lost to
is
them.
it because of America's team? I heard this story. I heard this story.
Bro,
yeah.
Y'all be careful when y'all walking around the streets in Pittsburgh.
Do you know the story? America's team or whatever? Yeah. If you know the story, please tell
I don't know the full story, but I know, like my grandfather told me, you were never... We don't even look at the stars in Pittsburgh when they come out. That's why it's so cloudy here. We like it to be cloudy and dim. We don't want to see the stars.
We don't even want to see it.
We don't even want to see the stars. But lo and behold, I got a son, Rain Israel Logan. I love you. You are my heart. This boy is a CD Lamb fan.
Oh, yeah. See?
And he had the nerve and the audacity to come into the house that I pay the mortgage in and all the bills. That his grandfather, Pop, brought him a CD Lamb jersey. Bro, broke my heart. It almost caused listen, he don't know.
A house divided.
Like, what are we doing?
Bro, listen.
Yeah, so 01, you come to Pittsburgh. 05, you guys won a Super Bowl in your hometown.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Bro, when people say you really cannot put into words how the feeling is of accomplishing something that you worked so hard for and just something that you thought about. I think about kids now. When I look at my kids now and I'm like, what are you thinking about? And I think about and I reflect and I say, I remember when I was 6 years old, I said I was going to do exactly this. So I'm always curious when I'm looking at them to think about, what are you thinking about right now? And, they say something so often, I want to, go to the moon or I want to do this. And I'm like, that's a reality. Mm-hmm. You can speak that into existence because it happened to me. So in 05, as we're walking off the field, like I said, my homeboy, he was at the game. He said that to me. I remember you saying that. And I was like, wow. And I sat back. And then I got to walk off the field with my Rays, with my mom. So I got hurt in the Super Bowl, bro. Tore my knee up, posterior reconstruction on my knee. So my mom at the time had bursitis in her hip. She was declining a little bit in her health. And I went and lifted her up over off the seats over onto Ford Field. Mm-hmm. And we both limped off that field and walked to the bus. And she told me, my purpose is fulfilled in life because you fulfilled your dreams and goals. And I said, you know what? In that moment, I was like, this platform that we have as football, I accomplished my dreams, but I wasn't fulfilled even walking off the field after I won the Super Bowl because I knew I was losing her. So I said, my purpose has to be greater than this.
Yeah.
I have to chase and find that purpose because I caught my dream. I was able to, and then, so it was one of them bittersweet things that I'll always remember, but it was just a moving, you can't, that's a priceless moment that I had with my mom just walking off the field, man. And, I still reflect on that, man. I still feel like I'm walking and we both limping. I'm messed up with her knee. Took us we was the last people to get to the bus, man. But it was just a special time, man.
I got a picture of my mom holding the Lombardi trophy after the Super Bowl win. It is special. I think it's the biggest smile I've ever had. Like that's the definition of a Kool-Aid smile. You know what I mean? Like the true definition of that.
Yeah.
And so, it's something I cherish. It's something I hold on to. Because like you said, the other thing is that, every season of your whole life, you get that same speech at the end of the year.
Right.
Like, we got to do this better. We got to do this. And for the one time, you get that one speech that's like, now we did it. Like,
yeah.
It's like, and you work your whole life for that one thing. And it's really hard. It's really hard to put into words. And Mike, you do a good job of attempting to do that. It's still very hard. Like it's hard for me to describe when people ask me as well.
They ask you that and you're like, man, what do I say? Oh yeah, it's great. You never can explain it thoroughly, and then all the things that come along with it. You know what I mean? Because people don't know your individual story of how to get there. They just think like, oh, you guys got to the Super Bowl. You were a really good team. You won more in your division. No, you know what I mean? The adversity. That was the most turbulent year of my personal life that I've ever had. That was the most turbulent year of my life as a person. Y'all got to see Mike Logan, the football player. Mike Logan, the dad. Mike Logan, the husband. Mike Logan, the father. Mike Logan, the educator. I was going through it.
Yeah.
But after I won that Lombardi, I'm smiling. You ain't going to see it. I got a mask on. That was the most turbulent time of my life. And then, when you have an extreme high like that, you got to expect that extreme low is coming. And after that, after the Super Bowl, just as high as the road went to the climax to win, the decline came. I thought it was going to be smooth. When you accomplish the goal, you think it's like, okay, I'm cool. I reached it. Right after the Super Bowl, my life started deteriorating.
How quickly afterwards?
Probably, it was already in turmoil. So I'm already in turmoil.
Well, you said it was like that the whole year. You wouldn't just nobody knew.
Nobody, because football was my outlet. Then I'm going to practice. I'm venting my frustrations out. That's why we were such a good team, because, bro, we was going at it. A lot of us must have been going through it. But our practices and the way we were sharp together made us, because that team, we had to win our last 6 games to get into the playoffs that year. And we was able to do that. We had to go on the road and win all of our playoff games. And it was just so competitive, man. And we were like, ain't nothing stopping us. But I was so unsettled, man. I was so unsettled. And then going to the Super Bowl, accomplishment, greatest dream ever. I blow my knee out. I think it was the second or third quarter, blow my knee out. And I'm just like, here we go. It's not stopping. And then right after the Super Bowl, my mother's already sick. I'm going through some personal relationship issues, get separated, And then mom passes away.
It's a lot.
Relationship ended. This is 3, 6, 9 months, like right afterwards. And I'm like, Jesus. I played one more year, come back, battle to get a roster spot. Bill came, he brought me in his office and he's sitting there, he said, I can't even find the reason to cut you. We just had that relationship. He knew. I knew it. I was 32 years old. I'm coming off my second knee reconstruction. I knew the writing was on the board. We got Troy Polamalu in here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm fighting. Went out, had my best training camp ever. But all of the stuff that was going on, I was just channeling into my practices and how I was carrying myself. That kept me on the team. But then after that year, I retired. My contract's up. So I had like 3 to 4 significant life-changing things happen right after I won the Super Bowl.
Was there ever a point in time that you felt like you could talk to someone?
No.
That was a quick answer.
No.
You held it all within yourself? You just kind of...
Years. Years. I recently just started speaking out. I didn't even want to say it to myself because I didn't even want to hear it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know how we are, man. We feel like we can shoulder it. I was just like, I can handle it. I've been handling all these years.
Yeah.
But it was so heavy. And the first time that it was a few years ago that I was able to just let it go and just address it, because we don't address things, man. We just put it on the shelf and kind of harbor it. I never wanted to feel pain. I never wanted to feel that. I never wanted to hurt. I was like, I don't want to, because we know what it feels like. I never wanted to hurt. Letting myself be hurt, letting myself experience pain was the greatest therapy I could ever have. Because I finally was able to let go. I used to walk around with my shoulders up. Don't even test me. Don't even, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Bro, when I did that, I felt my shoulders relax. I felt my walk improve. I felt, man, skin cleared up. Bro, vision got better. You know what I mean? Because when you mad, you squinting, you holding stuff. I didn't realize all of these things, man. Best thing that ever happened to me is allowing myself to experience pain.
Was there a moment that led you to say, you know what, I can't do this alone. I can't show it. I've been compartmentalizing this for years and years. Maybe I should go talk to somebody. Was there someone that said or suggested that you go speak to someone to, you know, get this off your chest? Or
no, but I never had one of those moments, but I had a moment where I was dealing with my oldest son.
Okay.
And my oldest son didn't want to speak to me. And I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't want to speak to me. And that cutoff of communication was like, I can't even tell him how to rectify this situation to get him to speak to me unless I do it. Because I never wanted to speak to people about what was going on with me. That moment and him not being able to tell me what he was going through was my wake-up moment to tell people what I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat back and I was like, I'm expecting him to just come. I'm your dad. Tell me what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, nah. And I had the moments where I'm sitting there and I was like, God's my father. I'm a believer. And I was like, I wasn't even telling him. I was sitting in my house one day just all by myself and thinking about my son Trey. And I'm like, this dude will not talk to me. He will not tell me what's going on with him. And I have no way to find out. I had to pour it out. And from that moment on, I poured it out to God first. And then, you know, I finally, you know, I think it was actually one of my pastors or my associate pastor was talking about going to counseling and dealing with some different things. And I was like, wow, it's a man of God, woman of God talking about that. Maybe I need to do that. And that was my first time speaking it out. But it was just because of my son not speaking to me and not speaking out about what was going on with him that made me realize I needed to speak out. And I was doing the same thing. How can I be mad at him for doing the same thing I'm doing?
That's a big moment, though, for you to realize that, like, while you in the moment while you're dealing with it, and then something happens at home, and then you see it in your child, and you're just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for recognizing that moment, and then
it took some time, but you know, just to eventually get it and understand, like, I'm not speaking out either. So how can I expect him to, and how can I tell him to? You know, how whatever he's dealing with or whatever the issue is, I don't even know that because I'm dealing with the same thing and I'm not doing it.
I mean, it might have took some time, but you got it, though. That's all that matters.
No doubt.
So what was it that you were not dealing with?
So, bro, I never knew what anxiety was. You know what I mean? I never knew what anxiety was. I didn't know, like, everybody talks about being anxious. You know what I mean? Everybody talks about you know, dealing with certain things or even depression. I didn't know I was depressed for 17 years. I didn't know how to grieve when my mother passed away. I didn't know what grieving was. You take for granted that you know all these things. And I pulled this whistle out because this is a part of one of the things I learned. It slows my breathing down. There's a whole bunch of little balls inside this thing. I might, you know how you get mad and you're just like, I used to do that, but I never wanted people to see it, so I would hold it in. I'm holding all of that.
Super tense.
Bro, man, I learned about how to express myself in different ways and different venues to get all of that off of me, and I learned about being in the state of anxiety. I learned about being in the state of depression and what that was. And I already thought I knew that though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If somebody asks you, are you depressed? You're like, yeah. But what does that really mean? You know what I mean? Like, so just being in those moments and learning just the simple things that we think we already know, that was it for me. And then when I sat back, I was like, that was so simple, just to learn about it, because we think we know so much. We think because I don't know if you guys are guilty of this, because I've accomplished so much on the field, I feel like I know everything. You know, I know how to get to the ultimate goal. You know what I mean? I know how to take this. You take so much stuff for granted. And it's just like learning simple things, like the true definition of what words mean can help you just get out of all the funk and flourish it, you know, like you never have before. And now I'm able to do that with my kids now. I mean, you and I were talking about the perspective of parenting with our older kids and now our younger kids, you know what I mean? So when I was, you know, playing ball and dealing with stuff and I'm thinking I'm all confident knowing this and this and that, but now I've been experienced. So now with my younger kids, I got that experience. You know what I mean? I got the knowledge and I can truly explain it out to them instead of just saying, oh, I know what to do. I'm going through it with them, man, you know? And it just makes a world of difference.
First and foremost, body language matters.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm like, what is the it? You immediately reach for it. Cause you know.
Yeah.
This is what's kind of got me through. I don't want to take your word.
Go ahead.
Look, you're about to say it.
No.
But this is like, you carry it with you now.
Oh.
You have the tools now to help you release
No
the
doubt.
anxieties, the depression. And it's funny because the moment you brought up that, you're like, you know, somebody asks you, hey, are you depressed? You're like, no, because you don't look depressed.
Right.
You know, like that's a real deal thing. We've been so fortunate enough to be doing this podcast long enough that we've got to talk to enough guys that have had a lot of similar journeys and pathways that they're all now on the other side of it because they have the ability and the tools now to recognize these things. I want you to respond first about this. Where'd you get it from? Tell me, how did it become a part of your life?
So I started going to therapy. This was during COVID.
Okay, so very recently.
Yes. So during COVID, I was one of in that first batch of people who got COVID. And first of all, I was like, I'm never gonna get COVID. I'm still in great shape. You know, I ain't worried about that, bruh. 9 days in the bed, lost like 22 pounds, and you know, and my wife and I had COVID at the same time. And it didn't affect her the way it affected me.
Right.
So she downstairs on the Peloton talking about, I'm gonna work this thing out. And I couldn't even get up out of bed. Like she's trying to slide me food under the door like on Soul Foods, you know, where they started the food. And I couldn't even eat. And that's how she knew I was sick. I couldn't even eat. And I'm sitting there and I was like, I'm really about to die in this room looking at the ceiling. Because I couldn't even, bro, I don't know what, it hurt to blink.
Damn.
It hurt to blink. So I'm either closing my eyes or trying to keep them open because I could feel it. Bro, I felt like I could feel my hair growing out. It was so quiet. Like, it was the scariest moment of my life. And in that moment, I said, if I die here with all of this cooped up inside of me, what is my family going to do? They won't even know how to deal with this if it happens to them, or they won't know how to, you know, just deal with it. And I promise you, I sat there for all them days and I thought about all of this and I was like, bro, you got to get it together. You can't die with all of this stuff cooped up in you. You can't leave this earth with all of this stuff cooped up to you. That's why I say the things that I want to say to people when I see them now. That's why when I'm leaving somebody and I'm like, I'm going to pray for you, I end up praying for them right then. You know what I mean? Because you could walk away from those situations thinking you can get back to them and you might not ever get back to them.
True.
So as I was laying in that bed and I'm sitting there, I said, Lord, if I get up out of this bed and I'm able to recoup, get my life back together, I'm always going to speak out about it. I'm always going to do something about it. I'm always going to try to, express myself in a way when I'm feeling tight inside. Even when you asked me the question, I grabbed for it because I felt myself getting tense because I didn't know if I was going to talk about it. I didn't know if I was going to express it. Even when Jake hit me when I looked at your podcast to find out what I was like, that's going to come up. So normally I would have not done this interview if I didn't speak out about it, if I didn't know how to deal with it. Mm-hmm. Because when you would have asked me that question, interview would have been over. Bro, I can't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to look vulnerable to these people on the screen. But guess what? I am vulnerable. But you know what I do is just like football. I take my vulnerabilities and I try to learn about what makes me vulnerable as opposed to working on the things that I'm great at. I'm great at hiding things. I'm great at suppressing things. I'm great at, work on trying to get all of that out. You know what I mean? So, and that's how I'm doing everything in life. But we did that in football.
Right.
Yeah. If I wasn't good at, breaking on an angle to get to the half, I'm going to go out there and work on that. If I'm not good in man-to-man coverage, I'm going to work on that. If I'm not good at jamming a receiver on the line, I'm going to go out there and work at that. The things that I'm good at, you kind of take for granted, but the things that you're bad at, you're going to go work at. Why don't you do that in your life? The things that you're bad at off the field, let's work on those. Let's get some practice time in. I go to training camp right now for my therapy. There's times when I'm like, for this whole week, for these 5 days, weekdays, I'm getting in a book to try to learn something. I'm talking to my therapist. I'm trying to create questions and ask her things that make her use her degree. You know what I mean? that she's scheduled in thing. And you got to find the right therapist. I went through a couple before I really found the right one. And then being as a brother, we're like, oh man, they ain't gonna be able to relate to me because they don't understand my struggle. And I'll never forget my therapist said to me, you think depression cares if you're a scrawny little white lady or a tough black man? No. Depression don't give a damn about what color you are, where you came from.
Great point.
Anxiety don't care that you grew up in the projects or you live in Hollywood Hills. Okay. I'm looking at this little white lady like...
That makes a lot of sense.
She is like... It don't give a damn about where you come from, how you was brought up, where you live, how much money you got, what kind of car you drive. No. Half of them things probably making you more stressed. I sat my ass down in that chair and said, let's go. Let's get at it.
Yeah.
Now we popping, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore has 4 picks or 4 people on it. You get 4 people to put on your personal Mount Rushmore of people that had influence from the time you were born until today.
Linda Logan is the most thoroughest human being that I ever encountered in my life. My mother lived till she was 51 years old, and what she had to endure, because I got to see firsthand her life and the way she endured and the way she carried herself, you would have never knew that woman was going through everything that she went through. Health, finances, cultural, everything. Like the way she handled herself, she's her. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And not to put them in order, because I'm a believer. Jesus Christ is the savior of my life, man. He's undefeated. He's there. You know what I mean? And people say he ain't real. He's real to me. I don't care what nobody think. He's real to me. He's on there. Troy Polamalu. Troy is one of the greatest human beings I've ever met in my life.
Why is that?
Every space he walks into, he makes it better, and he leaves it better. Troy Polamalu came in to take my position. Mm-hmm. He was drafted to take my position. I got hurt in the 0-3 playoff game, and they were like, we got to upgrade this position. And Bill Cowher told me that because I was my man. He said, we moved up to draft the safety in the first round. What you going to do? Bro, I went to training camp, and I was coming off of another I had injured my knee. I injured my other knee. I did the same thing. Posterior reconstruction, hamstring reattachment, meniscus tear, LCL. man, I came back and was balling. And watching Troy, I was like, this dude, it's coming. I don't care what I might vote for him to play. After training camp, though, I ended up winning the starting job. Troy was just trying to get the concept. He was moving too fast, and not
Well, he also played more of a rover linebacker in college,
so he just had to learn our system. He was just learning our system.
Dick LeBeau was still
So with our zone blitz scheme and everything, and he was there, but sometimes he was getting there too fast. You know what I mean? So he just had to slow down and learn the game. And we developed a great rapport. I remember at training camp, they were talking about getting his contract done. He was like, man, I don't even want to hold out. His agent was telling him to hold out. And he came to training camp up in Latrobe, and they lost his bag. And he came and knocked on my door. Hey, man, I don't have anything, And I was like, bro, whatever you want. You know what I mean? You got it. Like, you can have it, whatever. And from that moment then, it was just like, this dude is different, man. Like, he walked into my dorm and made it better. And when he left, he made it better. He was so gracious for me offering anything to him. And then I started watching him. He was watching me, but I was watching him. So this dude used to go during our breaks, and he used to just walk through the paths up at St. Vincent. And he's a real spiritual man. So he was praying and he would be walking. I just observed him. And meanwhile, he was observing me on the field, and we just developed a great rapport, man. And I've never seen an individual take pride in everything that he does. Everything. The way he speaks to people, the way he greets people, the way he talks to his wife, the way he talks to his children, the way he talks to coaches, the way he talks to staff. I've never seen someone treat people like the way he treats people. Playing with Troy is scary as hell, though.
Because you don't know.
Bro, we're playing half field. Tom Brady's in his cadence. Troy's at the line of scrimmage. I'm like, Troy, you got that half of the field. So now, what they say, do your own responsibility. But now I'm going to play deep third because I'm like, I got to cover both sides of the field. Brady's in his cadence. By the time he gets to Hut, Troy is beeline to get to his half of the field. Now I'm out of position.
You got to get to...
Because I'm in the center field I'm deep third trying to get back to my half. I'm not as fast as this dude. So now I'm locking on my side. Dick LeBeau come back. Hey, you let Troy's going to do what he's going to do. You just get your ass to the half field and cover. And I'm like, but coach, he was at the line of scrimmage. Tom Brady was in his cadence. You don't worry about Troy. Troy's going to get there. And Troy would get there every time. I learned that to not try to compensate for what he's doing. I became a much greater player because I was always in position.
You mentioned something on your social media that very interesting. We talked about words earlier. Why do you say he saved your life?
Man, seeing how Troy dealt with adversity, when he first came, he was struggling. He was trying to find his way. Culturally, he was a little different. You know what I mean? I used to watch Troy sit and meditate and eat dry fruit in the middle of our DB rooms and everything like that. Like I told y'all, I was dealing with some turbulence in my life at that time. Like it was falling apart, and money couldn't save it. Football couldn't save it. And it was a dark time for me, like dark. And I was like, if I'm not happy being the most successful I ever been, then what's going to happen after this? What's going to happen when it gets darker for me, when it gets dimmer, when the lights start getting dimmer for me? And I knew the writing was on the wall because Troy was there. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is going to be his position. I'm going to be out the league. And what am I going to do? And just having conversations with this dude, man, I used to just sit down and eat lunch with him and just like, look, man, and just observe how he was and how he connected with his spirit. And like I said, I used to watch him walking through the paths and the trails up a thing. And guess who started walking those paths and trails after everybody still didn't want? I was ashamed of it though.
You didn't want nobody to see
I didn't want nobody to see me. But I'm walking through them, and I was a little scared out there, man. Y'all ever been up to Latrobe? In them cornfields up there?
No.
Man, but I got so much serenity in walking those paths, and I seen how he was able to deal with those things, man. And I reflected on Troy when I got into them dark times. And I was like, and then I found different paths to walk. And I just mimicked him. He never knew that. He never knew that until I put it out there. I mean, Troy, this dude gave me a shout out in his Hall of Fame speech.
Mike Logan, the starting safety my rookie year, shared his full knowledge of the game, wholeheartedly showing a level of humility that helped shape my career. Like many other teammates, his selflessness paved a greater opportunity for others at his own expense. It is unnatural in the most competitive environment to train your replacement, yet this is our culture, Steeler culture.
That's big.
Bro, that moment is his. He didn't have to talk about anybody. He could have talked about everything that he wanted to do, what he did to get him to that podium. This dude called me out by name. So now when me and my kids, we went up to Canton, Ohio, they're playing this speech. Did he say Logan? My son, did he say Logan? Didn't have to do that, man. Like I said, that dude makes every space he walks into better, and he leaves it better than he found it.
How'd that feel when you heard that?
Bro, I was emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was emotional. And that was the first time that I let my kids see me cry.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm holding all in.
Yeah.
And my son asked me, "You okay?" "Yep, I'm fine. I'm better now because of it, because I let that emotion out and you got to see it." Now he learned a lesson. It's okay. It's okay to let you be moved to emotions. And this is a great thing that happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it made me intentional about speaking out and calling people out who's helped me out along the way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we take for granted the small things. You know what I mean? I could shout out Betty Jean Harbor right now for telling me how to cook greens. You know what I mean? Just sitting in the kitchen with her, and you know what I mean? Like just little things that you learn from people, man. But how good that made me feel, and hit the most significant probably moment in his NFL career to say what somebody did for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said, Mike Logan shared his full wealth of knowledge with me. I didn't even know I was doing that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And for you to remember it on that grand of a stage, to me, is the ultimate, homage being paid to someone. And that dude's he's different, but I wish everybody was like him. We had a world full of people who just had his personality and just carried themselves the way that he does. Oh, what a beautiful thing, man. I got better after he said my name in the Hall of Fame speech. I got better after that. And I got to, man, there's two people. One is an uncle and one is a pastor, and they both helped me as far as development. And we say we get developed as a man, you know what I mean? On the spiritual side and on the physical side of just an emotional side of raising their families, man. Like my uncle Dennis Logan, man, he's a homicide. Well, he was a homicide detective here in Pittsburgh, man. Watching him growing up, take care of his family, like I grew up where there wasn't two parents in the home, mm-hmm. especially in the black homes. You know what I'm saying? All my, minority colored friends, I'm going over to their house. We're going on baseball tournaments and everything. And they got two parents in the household. He was one of the only people in my family who was married and was with his wife and was taking care of his kids. And it's not to knock anything my dad was. I'm just saying my dad and my mother never married. But watching him raise his family, I said, I want to be just like that. I want to be just like that. And then there's a spiritual mentor that I have, Kevin Cooper, who was a pastor at a church that I went to. He just would drop so much into my spirit. Mm-hmm. at a time when I didn't even want to. I didn't want to learn. I didn't want to. I was like, yeah, I believe, but I believe because I just believe. And he was like, well, I'm just going to pour into you then, whether I wanted to hear it or not. And he never gave up on that. Until this day, man, I made a post a couple of weeks ago, might have been a week ago, where I was talking about mental health. And he just texted me, brunch.
Checking on you.
Been too long, brunch. And because I missed the last one, brunch. No, and I'm not, set a date right now. You know what I mean? He always has me with that accountability. And for people to be, that caring about you, to be accountable and check up on you, he's never stopped that. He's never stopped that. And he was one of the people who, when I was going through that most turbulent year, who helped me through that.
Man, Mike, we appreciate you, boss. This was beneficial for me just to hearing your story. Like Rome said, we do this and we get the luxury. I call it a luxury and an honor.
That's true.
To let you all tell your stories, and I get something out of it. This is therapeutic for me.
You ready to say this was a session for me, bro?
This is extremely therapeutic for me.
This was a session.
Like after we do these sessions, I go home and I love on my kids a little bit more, and I talk to them, and it's just, y'all make me better. So I appreciate you. I really do appreciate you sharing that. Thank you very much.
I appreciate y'all having me and having this platform to do this, man, because it helps, man. The PA has done a great job in the trust of getting more resources for the players to be able to have these type of forums and display them, because there's so many of us who are just sitting back, even though they might put it out there, to be able to express it to the masses, to the fraternity of brothers we have in the NFL, especially in the retired community. You know what I mean? Because it's hard sometimes, man. It's hard to even gather with the fellas. Even when we gather, we're not talking about this. We're not putting ourselves out there like that, man. So Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity.
I'll be honest with you. I know we've gotten better in the last couple of years, because 2 years ago, Peanut couldn't even say that.
Wow.
And the fact of he being that open, right? So we've seen other guys be more open, be more vulnerable, and vulnerability equals strength, ultimately, especially in a group of men, right? The ones that are sometimes the most vulnerable are looked at as the strongest, because they're willing to share, they're willing to open up. And Peanut really struggled early with accepting credit. Hey, Peanut, man, dude, you're great. Just being man, thank you. Allowing that to happen, and so we all continue to grow through this. This was great. And I'm glad you were able to share with us and all the great things you're doing with your son and even your baby boy now, who's not a baby, but it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Though.
He's my baby. You know what I mean? He's my baby, man. But
it's we're gracious, and thank you for your time and all the advice about being with all the locals here in Pittsburgh. You know what we got to look out for.
Y'all got to learn y'all Pittsburghese, man.
Pittsburghese.
Yeah, you got to say yins and y'all and come man. Yeah, get y'all some pierogies. Y'all got it. Y'all.
I've ate a pierogi before.
You've ate a pierogi?
I've had a pierogi once or twice.
What you have in there? You got to get some of that good old sausage. I don't know what was in there.
I couldn't remember. Couldn't tell you what it was.
Y'all gonna hear a lot of words, man. Y'all gonna hear yoy and double yoy. Just
double yoy.
Yeah, just roll with the flow, man. Just roll with the flow.
After we done, let's go out amongst the people and be like, yo.
It's a good time, man. Pittsburgh's a good place, man. And one thing about Pittsburgh, man, sports is really the thing that brings us all together because we're so different in so many different aspects. Thank you guys, though, man. This was great for me as well, just to get it out because sometimes it's easy for me to talk to my friends and talk to the people I know about it, and even my therapist because I know her, but getting it out, in this room, and then having you guys know who we are and what we did, to say it to y'all was therapy for me. So thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks to all of our listeners and viewers, wherever you pick up your podcast, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio app. Man, continue to always tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about us, man. Continue to tune in. Peanut, get us out of here, boss.
Share, like, subscribe, follow, and check us out on our NFL YouTube channel. I'm Peanut, that's Rome, that's Mike, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts Podcast. We out.